Okay, this NRL season I haven't done any match previews, but there is one game out of round 9, the 2020 season, I'm going to preview. That's the Brisbane Broncos at home against the Canterbury Bulldogs. Now, who would have thought that these two teams would be at the bottom of the NRL ladder with only 3 wins between them at this point in the season? Now, Canterbury were expected to be here. Their issues with the salary cap in recent seasons has led to an exodus of players. They have the weakest squad on paper, and they've only won 1 game. The Bulldogs were expected to be here, and we'll go into the reasons why the Bulldogs are here. The Broncos, however, were not expected to be struggling at this point in the season with only 2 wins, and both those wins took place before the lockdown. Anthony Seibold is in deep trouble. Now, his first season at the Rabbitohs went reasonably well. They got finals football, and they had a pretty solid season after a slow start. Last season for Brisbane, again a slow start, but again they made finals football. Admittedly, it was a damp squib at the end, but they turned the season around and got some momentum going. They have lost 6 in a row leading into this game. 6 matches in a row Brisbane have lost. Canterbury, on the other hand, have won since the lockdown against the St George Illawarra Dragons, but that's their only win. They've been outclassed and outplayed in every game. The one difference between Brisbane and Canterbury on the field, at least, is Canterbury put in 110% every game without fail. Dean Pay has obviously got that fighting spirit in his team. Now, the reasons why the teams are where they are. We'll start with Canterbury because that is a nice, easy one. There is boardroom infighting, the issues with the salary cap. And this goes back to when Raylene Castle, yes, remember her in Rugby Australia? She was also CEO of the Canterbury Bulldogs for a while, until she joined Rugby Australia as CEO there. And they might have, alongside Des Hasler as coach, might have really screwed up the salary cap a little bit, which has led to a massive exodus of players in recent seasons, which has left Dean Pay with a weakened squad, and only Luke Jackson is the only player they have been able to sign who's a big name, and he's from England. And they can't really strengthen the squad. They've actually stated until next season they can't really strengthen the team. You know, if your best player, Kieran Foran, is injury prone, that is concerning. When, you know, your playmaker and your star halfback basically is playing with one shoulder completely reconstructed. He's another injury away from immediate retirement on medical grounds. That's basically how you see Kieran Foran, a talented player, but he's broken and can't stay fully fit for an entire season. He has missed a lot of game time throughout his career, and that is difficult when you're trying to build a team and a structure. If your key halfback is pretty much sidelined a lot of the time. If you look at the forward pack, Dylan Napa stands out as a player who's got a lot of rep football behind him and is a big name, won the premiership. But all told, the Canterbury Bulldogs are in a bad situation because of poor decisions made in the boardroom over many years, which has led to the coach not being able to assemble a roster that can compete against the other teams in the league. On the Brisbane side of things, again, boardroom decisions have been a bit bizarre. And the reason why they are where they are is they fired Wayne Bennett a year early. He was meant to leave at the end of the last season. He left the season before, which was a very strange arrangement, saying that, you know, Anthony Seibold was going to come in after 2 seasons at the Bunnies. He was going to come in at the end of last season. He came in a season early. So it undermined Wayne Bennett's position, knowing that he wasn't going to be there long term. And they just swapped roles. Bennett goes to South Sydney. Seibold goes from South Sydney to Brisbane. And while it sort of struggled in the early days, Seibold turned it around. This is the longest losing streak Anthony Seibold has had in his career. But another issue is, you look at the fact that in a starting lineup on a normal match day, if everyone's fit, they have 3 fullbacks on the pitch. Anthony Milford, he's a fullback by trade. He's not a half. And Darius Boyd, he's not a centre as predominant position. Again, a fullback. These are 2 key leaders out of the 3 fullbacks they have in their starting lineup. Both have been dropped for this game. If Brisbane lose this game, I think that's Seibold done. Brisbane have to win this game. The issue is, when it comes to putting effort out on the pitch, only in the last couple of games have Brisbane been seen to be putting in 110, 120% and going at it. Whereas Canterbury, even though they've been losing a lot of games, they're not. It's not for lack of effort. Lack of skill and lack of quality, maybe, but not lack of effort. And if Brisbane take Canterbury lightly, they could lose this game. This is the biggest banana skin I think they have faced in this losing streak that they're on, is the Canterbury game. I mean, I think the Bulldogs will be seeing a wounded Broncos team, and they'll be baying for blood, because they've been written off as the no-hopers all season, wooden spoon favourites. And this is the defining moment, because Canterbury can get a win here. It puts added pressure on Brisbane, who have the worst defence against the second worst defence in the league. The Gold Coast Titans aren't much better. But you look at it, and these are two teams that, are being battered pillar to post. They're in the press for all the wrong reasons. Brisbane, a lot of pressures on Seabold. I think that's unfair. I think a lot of the squad decisions, and this includes youth development and player recruitment, are on the board as well, because they sign off in these things. And you look at Canterbury, again, youth development, player recruitment, again, the board. These are teams that are having boardroom dramas. One team, the boardroom, is fighting themselves, and the other team is making really poor decisions. On the field, at least, yes, on paper, Brisbane should win. On form, since the lockdown, Canterbury are the only team to have a win. Brisbane's 2 wins came before lockdown. So in the last 6 weeks, Canterbury's got a better record. Defensively, both teams, it's not great. And scoring going forward, neither side scores a lot. This could be a very open game. This could be the best game of the round. We could have a high-scoring game here. It's all about who can control the game management. Now, the issue with Canterbury is, yes, they are lacking quality. The issue with Brisbane is they're lacking confidence. If Canterbury can get in front and hold on to a lead and be in the game in the first 20, 30 minutes, that's how they beat St George Illawarra. They were in the game after the first 10, 20, 30 minutes. They kept plugging away. They had a better set completion rate. They won the game. They played very well in that game. A lot of mistakes, but they played better than the opposition, and they were willing to stick at it against a better team. Brisbane have no confidence. Their second halves are terrible. Their scoring percentage, they've scored a lot in the first half, and when it comes to the breakdown of their points, but they've thrown away a lot of games from winning positions. At half time, they're ahead, thrown them away, and their second half scoring is nearly non-existent. So if Canterbury can be in the game at half time, or in the first 30 minutes, a few points behind, Brisbane are vulnerable. Very vulnerable. This game could define who gets the wooden spoon this season. Of course, the Gold Coast Titans may have something to say about that, because they're also equally woeful, but this game could decide who gets that wooden spoon, because it is a shortened season. And if Brisbane lose this game, I think Seabold's head is getting closer and closer to the block. They have given him a 5-year contract, Brisbane, by the way, which I think is a complete and utter insanity. Dean Pay, on the other hand, doesn't really have a future because he's not guaranteed anything. There is a lack of direction with Canterbury, but on this one-off game, this could decide the direction of Canterbury's future and Brisbane's. It could decide who gets the wooden spoon. It could decide, a lot going forward. It'd be interesting to see who comes out on top, and it's all about, I think, Canterbury's application to the game. They are the weaker team on paper, but for passion and pride and fight, they're up there. Brisbane, really skillful players, must play some really good young forwards, but when things start going wrong, the heads start dropping, and there's not enough leadership on the field to, raise morale, and someone shouting commands at players to say, look, we're still in this, we don't have to throw this away. There's some skillful players there, and Haas and Fafita in that squad. But when things start going wrong, their heads drop. On the Canterbury side, they will plug away for 80 minutes and keep fighting, even if they're losing 40, 50 points. But there we go. Interesting. This could be the best game of the round. This could be a high-scoring bonanza. Both sides could just turn it on because they can't defend. But scoring is a problem for both teams. And game management's an issue as well. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.